take a seat, come hang out with us. Cool. Well, guys, we're back to another Carmel Film Forum. We're live, we're not streaming. What? Okay. Oh, I should talk into a camera over here.
You should wait till we're live.
Ah. And action. My name is James Moriarty. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Carmel Film Forum. We are live at the new and improved Carmel Library. And this is the 6th year for the event. The past 2 years, we've been just streaming live. We've done everything from animation to how to make documentaries on your cell phone. And every year it evolves. And we wanted to bring it back and do a live event at the library to promote the library, as well as to be together again, because filmmaking is about being together. So we have a really great show, all about, with a theme of pinball, and we're gonna show some pinball movies, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go through and thank some sponsors and some other folks. A project like this comes together over the years with different little pieces. One of the biggest pieces was the city of Carmel. There's a grant that we get every year to do the Carmel Film Forum, but it's a wee grant in the big picture of things. So other people come on to help us out, and we have the Indie Film Fest, obviously the Carmel Clay Public Library, IFN, the Indiana Filmmakers Network, is a great group of people. Ted Gregorick always helps us with the AV and does the streaming and brings together all the pieces, as well as Robert's Camera really came through this year and helped us with some amazing optics. So when we shot our short film, we could really make it look beautiful. So Robert's really came through. And then, of course, our good friends at Wizard World who helped us with creating our film, and we're going to talk more about Wizard World. We shot this wonderful film that we're going to be showing today at the Melody Inn, and the Melody Inn's a really cool bar. It has a lot of patina, and you'll see that in the film. But I highly recommend, if you're of age, to go see a show at the Melody Inn. It's a wonderful place. And then Imoto, of course, is actually the captain of Captain Crazy, and Tilt Amusements and Zan. So we have a whole couple days of content. So we got to stay on task and shoot through the content. So we have a lot to share. So special thanks go out to the mayor, to Sharon, Nancy, Bob. You see them all there. Dan Moore. I also want to give a special shout out to our photographer, Randy Johnson Photography. I've worked with Randy for many years. He's a good friend. He's always comes out. But what I love about Randy, we can all shoot pictures with our phone, but he makes you look good. He's a professional photographer. Take advantage of it. He's here to take pictures, to make everybody look good. So snap some shots with Randy. He's a wonderful person, and he'll keep shooting until you look great. So, and he'll just use that photo too, which will be nice. All these photos will be put onto social media, so please share those photos or use them for yourself. Randy's giving you permission to share these photos or use the photos, but do us a favor and tag Randy, and if you use it as a book cover, you need a high-res version, give Randy a call, because you're going to have to pay for that one. So, but all the other stuff is yours to share because he's a good human. Next. Okay, filmmaking and our wonderful library. You're going to hear this a couple times. This place is amazing. If you walk down the hallway, there is an amazing place called a Digital Media Lab. All the technology that I created all this stuff in is there at the lab. So you could quite literally can sign in, use a TV studio, use cameras, use and edit everything on these really special Macs, plus do a lot more with 3D printing. You can make props. This place now is a filmmaker's dream. It's more than just books about filmmaking or watching films to be inspired. This is a maker's space now. And I highly recommend you guys to walk down the hallway and take a peek inside the lab. All it takes is a library card to get in, which is amazing. Also, too, there is like shared library stuff going on here, too. So if you get a special card from your library, you can exchange books from this library and use this library, even if you're not in the Carmel system. So anything in Indiana. So it's a really special place, and they support the film forum, so gotta love it. So the next bit is a little film reel that's up there. For the past 2 years, we're in our second season. Imoto and I, who is the very special guest that's going to be here talking here in a moment, have been doing a show called the Big Picture Pinball Show, and it's been a streaming show where we've been interviewing people who've created pinball content. So I'm going to share you our little intro for that. And then the show kind of turns into that. We're going to be doing some interviews, we're going to be talking, we're going to be showing some films. That this is pretty much the end all of the Big Picture Pinball Show, because we've been leading up to this film for 2 years, getting people excited about it. So this is the final season of the Big Picture Pinball Show. So I'm going to play this, and then we're going to have an interview. And then we'll watch some films and do a table read. So can we cut the lights? So I guess we kind of need lights to come up for the interview a little bit. We're going to be playing up and down lights, but we were totally worried that you couldn't actually see the screen, so we're really excited that it's an overcast day because we could actually, there's a lot of light in here. But I want to introduce you to Mike. He is the owner and operator of Wizards World Pinball Arcade in Fort Wayne. He's a very special person, and I'm going to hand this now over to Imoto to do his formal interview part. And she's actually wearing about 1,000 hats, so she's now switching and doing other things, so it'll transition will happen here shortly.
Hello, 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 everybody out there. Ooh. Thanks for joining us. We have this awesome room full of so many pinball people and filmmakers together. It's like my dream come true, James's dream come true. So thanks again for y'all coming. And thank you, Mike, for being here. We have this beautiful funhouse machine we'll talk about in a second. But let's have you introduce yourself. I'm going to start, actually. Mike is the wizard of Wizards World, Fort Wayne, Indiana's awesome, the best arcade ever.
Thank you.
I mean, it's really hard to say. So you have like 144.
Yep.
No, hang on, your stream locked.
Okay, 144 pinball machines.
I hit refresh, but it's still.
We're live streaming this to the public, y'all, so that's what we're, always with live streams, there's something crazy going on, but it looks like they're still trying. They can just watch it later, right?
Okay, whatever.
Because it's, our internet's not working. Okay, cool, no worries. Let's try that again. Okay. Wizards World is this amazing arcade in Fort Wayne that has currently on the floor 144 immaculate pinball machines. It's open 7 days a week, and really there is very few to none places like this that exist in the entire world. So we have a very special person here that makes it happen. So, hi Mike, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into pinball and how that manifested into the epic Wizards World.
Well, I started playing pinball when I was knee-high. I went with Mom to the laundromat, and they always had a pinball machine in there, and I've tried to date it. I can't figure it. It has to be somewhere between kindergarten and second grade is when I started playing pinball. Back in the EM era, at the laundromat, I'd sneak a quarter out of Mom's money for the washing
When she wasn't
machines
looking.
and run over and play. And the other cool thing was in the 70s, right next door to the laundromat, they opened up this huge pinball arcade. So I'm this little kid over there playing pinball, having to tell these adults, hey, you know, I just smashed your high score. It's like, you know, they didn't believe you. I said, well, come here and look. You know, I rolled it. There it is. But that's how I got my start. And I actually found one of the machines that I first started playing. It's Hollywood. It's a 2-player machine. It also has a sister machine called Cinema.
Okay.
Same machine, but 4-player. But I always remembered Laurel and Hardy and these special drop targets. And I think it was 2017, early 2018, I'd finally found that machine. Not the exact one, but that one. And it stayed in the arcade until we wore it out, and we had to rotate it out of the lineup. But that's where I got my start. And then back in those days, we had pinball machines everywhere. I lived 2 houses away from the railroad tracks, and I could hop on the railroad tracks and go this way to the college. And they had 4 or 5 pinball machines at the Union. I could hop on the railroad tracks and go that way to downtown and all over, and just played pinball. And apparently I was pretty good from what my friends remember. I
Hence
just
the
remember
wizard.
having fun, yeah. But I grew up in North Manchester, Indiana, a town of about 6,000 people. And back in the heyday, we had tons of pinball machines and video games. And that's how actually Wizard's World came to be. You know, I was the poor kid, and I hung out with everybody, and we all played games. And the John Snyder, who recently passed away, and his family opened the original Wizard's World back in 1980, and I was their only employee from the day it opened until the day it closed. And I was the actual one that told the pinball and video game owner. First name was Dorian, and he lived in Wabash. I remember that, but I can't remember anything else. I told him, hey, you know, John's decided to close it down. So, you know, from birth to death, living that, you know, and teenager, you're kind of, oh, man. But, you know, it had a huge impact on me as a person. I don't know if you want to call them guardian angels or mentors or what, but from the time I was very little, I always had people reaching out, giving back. I come from a big family of big athletes. I was actually the smallest one.
What kind of sports?
Everything.
Everything.
Football, basketball, baseball, you name it. My sister was big, track. The older boys all went to play college football and semi-pro football, what they had back in the day, but not me. I retired out of high school. But just had a great time, and I had all these people watching out for me, you know, and at that time I didn't know what they were doing, but they were giving back, you know. I got put on a baseball team as bat boy 2 years before I was supposed to. I was gifted memberships at the local pool, which had video games and pinball and air hockey. You know, just when I look back, it's just a ton of things that was just really cool. All these people helping, you know, the poor kid out. And I've really tried to pay that back as I've gotten older. And we do a lot of things at the arcade. I was very fortunate enough to draw in a tremendous amount of like-minded people. And this fall, I reached out to our local school district. So if we have some Carmel people in here, I'm in the Carroll School District in Fort Wayne. There's a little bit of rivalry there with Carroll and Carmel, maybe more on the Carroll end. You know, we want to beat your football team awful bad. So, but the people that are in the pinball community are very giving, and I had all the grade school kids come in through the PTO of the school. And I said, you know, let's have a lot of fun with this. Tell you what, the first 100 kids that show up on your PTO night, they'll get a free T-shirt. Well, I can't turn a kid away. So if we have to give out 150 shirts that night, we will.
How many showed up?
A lot.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
That's
we
future generation of pinball right there.
We were pulling in about 100 people an event,
Wow.
which was really good. It kind of blew my mind away with the numbers. Charity events, we'll do other charity events. People in need that's in the pinball circles. We'll have a need, and we'll get together and have a charity event.
Yeah. And you do a lot of stuff for women in pinball and the Bells and Chimes communities.
Yep, the women in pinball has a tremendous growth opportunity. If you step back and look at our community, we can really grow the women in pinball. And there's 3 or 4 or 5 I've seen in here really good, and you're gonna have to raise your hands, Shannon and Sydney, Lauren, Brooke, Tricia,
Yay.
Imoto. I got to play Imoto.
Did I beat you? I don't
No.
think so.
But
My
there's a tremendous growth opportunity, and I reached out to Columbus, Ohio, and the people up in Minnesota and Chicago, and they really came together this fall for our WOW 2 Women of Wizards World 2 tournament.
That's awesome.
Basically, WOW 1, I pretty much funded that whole thing and paid for everybody to play. WOW 2, I paid for nobody. What do we have? 48 women from all over the Midwest. We had them fly in from Florida. They're already made plans to come back next year. I'm very confident we'll have 100 women.
Yes.
And if we hit that number, we'll give away a brand new Stern pinball machine, which is just really cool, I think. Yeah.
That's amazing. You give back so much to this community. And I know you're doing stuff local, which is awesome, like with the kids at the elementary school, but then so much support to our pinball community in whole, and that's our family. I know that so many of you are in here know what I'm talking about when I say that. And so when you saw that we put Skillshot Baby out there on our Kickstarter, you reached out to Jen Rupert, our production manager, who is not here because she's at the Sanctum tournament. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Pinball Sanctum, it's a 24-hour-long tournament that there's a huge waiting list to get all 70-something people in there. So a lot of our crew members who aren't here today are there playing pinball. We miss y'all. But so you reached out to her and was like, how can I help, with this film? Like, what about Skillshot Baby drew you into to reach out to us? Because you made it happen. Like, truly, you made this movie happen. So thank you.
I saw what you all were doing, and I was familiar with Imoto and James. And Jen jumped on the bandwagon, and these were all very good people, all very dedicated to pinball and what they do. So, as an investment, which I see everything I do in pinball as an investment to try to expand it, it had such a positive impact on my life that I want more people to get involved. But I saw what these folks were doing, and we set up a conference call, And that's where, you know, I'll get into the nitty-gritty, ask the questions that I want answered. And all I did, we got on one of those video calls.
Yep,
What do you call
we were
it?
on Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into this stuff. The kids are a lot better at this stuff than me. But we got on Zoom and we're talking, and I just let them talk. And they answered all my questions. I had absolutely no questions. They covered all the bases and said what this was going to be about, and we want to get more women and kids involved.
Yep.
And I said, oh, you know, we as in Wizards World want to be a part of this. Let's, you know, I'm in. And that was all there was to it. I had no doubt that this will be successful. You know, I'm sitting here behind the scenes, but I'm also watching what these folks are doing and putting in all the extra time. I know you guys have done some filming outside of the main 3 days, which I couldn't attend because it was my 55th birthday and Aerosmith was in Vegas, so I said, hey, I'm going to Vegas. So, priorities, but I really wanted to be there. But you know, you only
We
live
felt
once.
you in spirit.
Good.
Is that right?
Good. But when you find a group of good people, you know, I learned this at an early age. I've never invested in a thing or an idea. I've always invested in great people, and two of them are right here in the front row, Shannon and Matt, who handle all the maintenance and refurbishment. I took this, you know, collection and arcade and handed it to them, and I said, you guys have all the technical direction. I said, whatever you say goes. You are far better than I am at this. So I invested in them. I invested in Imoto and James and the group. Because they're good people. They're going to do it right. They're going to work hard. They're going to put in the extra hours. You don't even have to ask. You don't even have to put it in writing. I mean, this was a pretty simple thing. We had a couple contracts we signed, and they said, what do you want? Nothing. Let's just do this.
Let's go.
Yeah. But I got some cool little things. You know, I got some cool trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, he started printing out swag for us and everything. He is the swag king too, by the way. Yeah, Wizards World has the best swag. So we have a lot of filmmakers, not yet fully converted pinball people in this room too. So for those folks, what is it to you about pinball that really draws you in, that got you hooked and made it your entire life?
We just moved this machine from there to here, and I will guarantee you 100% that it will play totally different just based on that move.
Yeah.
A pinball machine will never play the same 2 games in a row. Matter of fact, I will say I doubt if there was anybody, if you're just playing pinball, that could get the exact same score
Oh yeah, that would
2
be
times
nuts.
in a row, or even, you know, twice in 10 games. It's just that dynamic of a game. And I was telling somebody earlier, you know, in 2017 when I started playing competitively, I never nudged because I grew up poor. 25 cents was a lot of money to me.
Oh, and the tilts were like
Yeah,
super tight.
and you tilt the ball, your game's over. So you know, I never tilted as a kid.
Don't breathe on it.
Yeah, but as a 50-year-old, I said, man, if I want to win a pinball tourney, I need to learn to nudge.
Oh yeah.
And I've gotten that down to a skill. You might see me do this here and there on a machine, but yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's a really unique, pinball is just really unique. And we have doctors, lawyers, people from all walks of life, elbow to elbow, playing pinball against each other. Chef Paul, my general manager, the L5S1 vertebrae series in the back must be a typical pinball injury. I was down here in 2018 at IU. Brain doctor had to go in and cut out some stuff. Chef Paul just blew his a year ago. So we're keeping extra eye on Matt.
From lifting pinball machines?
Yeah, because, he's
Damn.
getting help. We don't want him blowing his back out. But Paul's brain surgeon, who did his surgery on his spine, comes in to play pinball.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great how the pinball community, like you said, is just so diverse, and people from all sorts of different careers, lifestyles, and everything, political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, but all of that goes out the door when you walk up to a pinball machine and start playing together, and that's part of the beauty of it, really.
I've had rock stars come into the arcade and leave me their cell number, their personal cell, because they want to buy my machine. No.
No.
Ed Robertson from Bare Naked Ladies is one friend away. I can call that friend and say, I want to get in touch with him. But he was in town for a concert at the beginning of October 2nd, I think. And that friend had contacted me when they announced the concert and said, hey, Ed and I usually play pinball before the concert. So I said, well, just come in whenever you want. And 2 days before the concert, Ed looked at our machine list online and got a hold of her like that and said, I've got to go.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you guys can come in whenever. They usually try to play before the concert, but this time they had to do it after the concert. And I said, well, that's no problem. Matt and Shannon are there all night long anyway doing the maintenance. So they got there at 9:30 and left at 3 a.m. Just playing pinball just like kids, just out there having a great time. So I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome. And I can't stress enough how amazing of a place Wizard World is. Just real quick, hold up your hand if you've actually been to Wizard World.
Jerry has. He got his shirt on.
Awesome. So not that many. So let's describe Wizard World. Like y'all already know, it's 144 pinball machines, which is absolutely insane to have in a public place that's open 7 days a week. But when people walk into Wizard World, what do you want them to feel and experience?
I want them to be speechless.
I was.
And who was that said, I have no words, that was just in?
That was Ed Robinson.
Ed from Bare Naked Ladies. I have no words. Yeah. When I met Matt, I got to meet his parents too, and his parents reminded me so much of my parents. And then I got to know him, more and more, and it's like he had the same type of upbringing as me. Must have been fate that landed us together. And I said, this is what I want to do for a pinball arcade. And he was one, well, if we do it, we got to do it right. We've got to have preventive maintenance. I said, I've heard enough. You're in charge of it. I said, make this, the dream pinball arcade. And this is funny, if somebody tries to say a machine's not working, Matt will go talk to them, and they'll go right down to the code. Well, the reason it's not doing that is because we have this dip switch set this way. So if you ever want to talk smack about somebody's pinball machine, make sure you're the smartest person in the room.
Awesome. And this is actually, Matt, Ogdog's refurbished fun house. It's absolutely beautiful.
Played a lot of fun houses, and for the first time I got to play it over here. And best fun house I've ever played in my life. What do you think, Jim?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know where the mic is, but I'm it's a beautiful machine. It's a beautiful restoration. Funhouse has played a big part in my life, and we're going to show you how much we care about Funhouse because it's part of our film. It plays a character in our film, and you'll see more here soon if you see our short coming up, as well as if you stay for the table read, you'll learn that Rudy plays a big part in our life. So to see Rudy active, see his eyes shine, to see the glimmer in Rudy's eye is pretty amazing. So thank you very much for bringing this machine to the library, sharing it with people. I would probably never be able to have access to this game unless you travel to Wizard World. I'm sure it'll be there. But it was a beautiful thing to play. Plus, I have a little gift for you.
Oh.
You are the wizard of Wizard World. So we came across this. We have a friend that creates these things.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
And we want to wrap this segment as well as share with you.
I know what this is.
You know what that is?
What is it?
It's special.
A
It's
stick.
a wizard stick.
Oh.
Ah,
Oh, he got a wand. He's going to walk around the
Yeah.
arcade and be like, no.
That's cool.
it's a wand. And I have a friend that creates this who is also a wizard.
Look at
But he
this.
makes handmade wizard
Oh,
hats.
you're
Yeah.
putting on wizard hat.
There you go.
Wow,
There, I
it
got my
fits.
stick.
Yay.
Hold your wand right.
Oh, yeah, you
Get
gotta
it,
go.
you can do Alakazam.
Alakazam.
There's a wizard.
This is cool.
Awesome.
Now, Ingrid, what's the wood? Where's Ingrid? What's the wood that's made out of? The wand?
Cedar.
Cedar. Okay,
Nice.
cool.
So,
So it smells good, too.
Yeah.
If not, you could put it in your closet to get rid of.
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So, thank you very much. We're going to do the next transition. We have to stay on task so that we can get through the entire read. But I want to give a big round of applause to
Thank
the
you,
Wizard
Mike.
of Wizard World.
You bet.
Thank you for being involved in our storytelling, in our life, and our love of pinball, as well as I want to also take this quick moment here before we share the film. I want to thank all the sponsors, all the crowdfunders, all those people who trusted us to create this film. We made a lot of friends on this journey along the way. So all those people we want to thank. It's been a journey, a story, and we'll talk more about that toward the end as far as how this all evolved when we do, once you see the work. But for me, I love showing work. I love people seeing it. But up front here, I want to give a round of applause to all the sponsors who sponsored us on Kickstarter, all those people who traveled across state lines to come here to work on this film. We had a very, very modest budget for our Kickstarter. We had enough to pull this thing off. And Imoto, myself, we all gave everything to this film. We gave our resources, we gave our time, we gave our technology. All on a very small budget to make this beautiful little film that we loved. But when Mike came in and said that he'd help out, that brought the film to a next level, and we want to share that with you guys because we think it turned out beautifully. At the same time, we were able to afford, bringing people in from out of state, putting people up in an Airbnb. All those things were because of Mike and his help with this project for us. So we feel that we've taken this film to the next level. We would love to see it evolve into something even greater. So please, as you're playing games, if you get a high score, put SSB on your game and share that with the world that we're out there trying to see this thing come to fruition and tell the big story that you're going to now hear with the table read. So let's prove and let's show the film and share that with everybody. We're going to do a quick transition, move the game out, and but again, let's get that round of applause to our wizard,
SSB.
all of our sponsors,
Said SSB.
and Rudy. Gotta love Rudy.
Yay.
Rudy's the guy inside of this thing. So,
Yeah, and play more of this game later because it's so modded out. It's awesome. Rudy's
Yeah.
eyes light up red and white, and it's
Before you,
creepy.
before you guys boogie, let me.
Oh, photo?
A three shot of us.
All right,
Oh.
we're going to take a photo. Ted, is the live stream still? Okay.
But we'll get
No
that going
worries.
for the next chunk.
What's this?
You want the hat?
This will be
Let's
recorded.
put the
too.
hat on.
Put it back on.
Yeah.
See, I need a walking stick like this.
Just make
You
it
should tape it on to your walking stick.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right, that's great. I'm gonna move it a little.
See, he's a professional.
Mhm.
Use this guy.
And here we go.
He makes you look
Cool.
good.
Can we get a picture with Dog?
Yeah. Get,
You guys could.
Because this is his beautiful work right
Yeah,
here.
be on this side.
And how much are you selling this to me, Dog?
Here, why don't we get,
We just
get
get-
Doug on the other side? Doug, come over here.
Yeah,
Shannon,
yeah,
Get a
where's
special one for you
Shannon?
guys.
yeah.
Shannon, you gotta get
I'm
in
gonna
here.
look at the stream.
We're
Are you
always
streaming
here.
from this camera?
No, you're good.
No.
They wouldn't look this good without this girl too.
Oh, yeah.
It just kept locking up. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
how.
so weird.
Your computer says you got internet.
Yeah.
Again, photos you can share from Randy. Please take advantage of this situation.